Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Women That Dream series. I have a very special guest here with us today. My friend Alvina Peat is with us today. I'm going to share with you a little bit about Alvina. Alvina is a founder and creator of H.E.R Empowerment Retreat and Resources. And we get to talk in depth about that today, about that dream and about that creation. And Alvina Peat is of Alvina Williams Peat and Associates, an organization dedicated to shining the light on women. Um, Alvina is so full of support and resources, and her passion for helping others and really hearing others is so inspiring. And I'm just so grateful, Alvina. Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing this incredible story.
You're welcome.
So, Alvina, I want to open up our discussion and talk about H.E.R Empowerment Retreat. And if you can think back of the moment when you realized that this dream was born, or that you had this idea that you would like to explore, and what did it feel like, or what were the thoughts, or what led to it, and what were your hopes and dreams with the creation of that?
Wow, that takes me back. So it was around 2015 when I realized that something was missing. And what I mean by that is I was doing the work that I loved, which was corporate training and development or leadership development, was going into organizations all around the city of Philadelphia and its surrounding suburbs. And I was offering interpersonal skills, workshops, interventions, one-on-one coaching. But something just was off for me. I didn't know what it was until, and I tell this often, until I went on a walk with a dear friend, Tanya. And we were walking, and I was telling her about some of this, like, oh, I'm not feeling right. I don't know what it is. I should be happy. I'm doing the work that I love, but am I doing the work that I love? And we were just having our regular, as I call them, sister circles, walk and talks. And she said to me, she said, you told me that you were going to have a women's retreat. You were going to design it. Whatever happened with that? And I thought to myself, wow, I did say that, didn't I? Whatever happened with that idea? And I left the track that afternoon. I went and I pulled out my journal and I started writing. And I was like, oh, she asked me about the retreat. I forgot about that retreat. Let me sit with that idea. What's going on? And so I put up a board in my kitchen area that I could see whenever I was in there cooking or washing dishes or reading, whatever I was doing in that area. And I just put on the board, how do I use my new skills, my current skills in a new way? And so, although Tanya and I had talked about this retreat idea I had, I was still questioning, can I use the current skills that I have in a new way? And so I just kept that board up for weeks and weeks. And during that time, I just thought about it. What would a retreat look like? Who would come? Where would I hold it? And then it just, the idea, one idea after another, just kept coming. And so as I sat with those ideas, if if anybody's listening and they can relate to this, you're in those peaks and valleys where you're like, some days you're like, yes, I'm on it, and then others that's what I started. That also started happening where I would, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this retreat. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to do this retreat. Yeah, I'm going to do this retreat. Oh, and another dear friend, which you and I share from our mastermind group, but I didn't know her that well at the time. She done called me and she said, I'm looking to start a mastermind group. Would you be interested? And I'm like, oh, and I think she had already talked to you about it. And she said, I already have one other person in mind, and we all have ideas that maybe we want to get off the ground. Now, what Cheatham didn't know was, and I tell her this often, She caught me when I was just laying on the sofa, like, oh, my life has no meaning. What am I doing? And I'm like, oh my goodness. One dear friend is asking me whatever happened to this idea. Another person that I know sort of from networking is calling me to be a part of a mastermind group. Something's going on here. And so, as you know, I joined the group with you and with you and Cheatham, and the wheels just began turning and we began supporting one another. And although we officially called ourselves a mastermind group, I refer to it as my sister circle because there was this circle of women that we came together and we were lifting each other up. We were sometimes feeling really doubtful about ideas, but we would know that we were meeting and that we would get that inspiration and we would go off and we would create and come back. And so I think that the idea for the retreat was there. I apparently had talked to someone about it and had even forgotten about it, but I had forgotten about it. And maybe that was the discomfort I was feeling. As I'm talking to you, Kate, I'm thinking right now that could have been the discomfort I was feeling was because I wasn't fulfilling that purpose. And so I was like, what's wrong? Why am I feeling this discomfort?
Mhm.
But what was happening was, it's like, because you're not in the right space. You need, this is what you need to be doing. And so from that, from lots of soul searching and sister circling and designing her came to be.
That's so beautiful. And I love the little whispers that you were hearing from, and that just shows how important the support is and surrounding yourself with people to just share things about and then reflect it back to you and pique those interests back up, or even show that, oh look, another person thought it was a good idea. And although we there's so much strength inside of us, and to validate our ideas, it is really, really encouraging when people in our life are seeing the value in it too, to reflect it back to us, to give us the courage, the just to the go ahead and be like, okay, yes, I will follow through. And I hear so much about purpose, and I love that you reflected back, and because that is a great compass that we do have, when we're feeling like, well, why am I not feeling, and you start to think, well, I'm so grateful for this and grateful for that in my life and this, but it just feels a little like, something, there's something there that searching, right? And I love that you found it. So I'd love to explore, as you were creating the first one, the first in-person retreat, um, what have you noticed in yourself as you were creating it? What growth have you noticed in yourself, or what change it brought to you creating her for others?
So I think that the one thing that it did for me, I was teaching, or as I was designing her, what I was including in the program in that event were things that I needed to learn. So, and I'm not embarrassed to say that. Like, even when I'm facilitating, I I don't ever want a woman to feel like, oh, she has it all together, she knows all of this stuff already, she's here to impart knowledge on us to us, because that's never my mission. My mission is to gather us all together and to lift each other, one another up. And what one participant may be really um, well versed on, another may need it on the other side of the room, and vice versa. And so when I designed the retreat, it was really out of my desire to live a more empowered life. But I created this event because I was also hearing from other women their struggles in the same areas. And although my focus is on women, right? A lot of people say, well, men could benefit from an event like this as well. And I say they certainly could, but I have not been called to do that. So I don't say, oh, women have all these issues and we have to get together. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I am saying that this was my mission and the women that need it will show themselves. Um, the other learning that I had was being open enough to invite others in to help me because I am a soloist. I love to do things on my own, although I'm a very much a people person. When it comes to creating, I like to do it all myself. And so by opening up to you and to Cheatham, it made the program even larger. And what I mean by larger, I don't mean in size and quantity, but the view. It opened up so many doors and windows in my mind around what it could be. And I go back to the example of when we were gathered talking about what to name it. And I knew that I had come up with empowerment retreat. I wanted to name it Her, but if you recall, we were in my backyard and it's like, what? I don't know what to do with the H. And I got all these notes all over and I'm asking everyone. And you said to me, well, what about her? Why does it have to be so difficult? Why don't we just call it Her? And I was like, oh, I could call it that, couldn't I? And I sat with that and went, yeah, I like that. Her empowerment retreat. And it just happened like that. But it was my ability to be vulnerable enough to say, I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me sit with this. And I loved it. And then Her became Her empowerment retreat. And I realized that I wanted it to be just more than a 1 year event with me. And so it became resources. So I want women to see me as a resource and that um, they can turn to me when, oh, do you know someone that has? Or, hey, are you having any events outside of the retreat? Do you know of any books? Like, I want to be resourceful to women. I want to be that point of contact because it's for me, it's all about shining the light on women because we don't do that. Many of us don't do that. We've been taught not to do that. We don't necessarily shine the light on ourselves and tell people how we can help them or even accept help. So through Her and all the work that I do, it's all about shining the light on the women that I come in contact with.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And I really appreciate your honesty and vulnerability to share that parts of the Her were things that you needed for yourself. And I feel that a lot of times we are we learn it, it's a learned behavior that we see, that we feel that we have to be experts in everything, and we can learn together alongside, we can come together and learn, or we can learn something in order to teach it to someone, so there's just this it's a limiting belief that sometimes is created that holds you back too, right? And it's tied so tightly to perfectionism, where you just want to know perfectly, to be this perfect, and that's going to hold you back from doing something because, well, it's not perfect, but perfect is what you define in your mind. So, and I love how you said it opened the windows in your mind. So the more we can do that, the more we can open our mind and open ourselves to ideas, beliefs, new ways of doing things, the more we grow. And we see that in ourselves. So, with having this retreat and facilitating it now, um, what was the most empowering experience to you as a creator of it?
Well, to I think for me, it is there are a couple of things. Number one, I created it. I created something,
You did.
and it's out in the world. And just to sit in that, like I put something out into the world that could help one person, that could have been me, it could
Mm-hmm.
help two people, me and someone else. But I believe it's far reaching. And I believe that creating it, um, going through with it, following through, seeing this through, has helped me to build my confidence,
Mm-hmm.
to feel like I'm contributing to the world. I'm contributing something to the world. It also has been a stepping stone to other things. So I took the design of the retreat and created a women's leadership program for work, so to speak. So the retreat itself was never meant to be just about your professional self. It was supposed to be whatever you bring to that retreat, your a personal challenge, a professional challenge, or you just want to connect with people. That's what I wanted the retreat to be about. But then that design, as I stepped away from it, I was like, I do like corporate work. I like to be a part of that. And I like to be a part of helping women feel they're most empowered in the workplace and looking at what they bring to the table and what are some of the things that they're afraid to step forward and volunteer for, or they don't want to shine the light on themselves at work and therefore they're missing out on opportunities to grow. So I took the retreat design and created what I call the Emerging Leader Program. And that is for women in the workplace. And then, and upon that, it was like, okay, so if I want to help women in their careers, it's time to write the book. And so, again, going back to our sister circle, Cheetah said to me, okay, you ready? I can help you. I got a publishing company. Let's do this. And so then the book is due out in the fall. It's a journal, but it's a way to help women stay inspired. And women who may never come to any of my programs may feel like I have something that can help me one on one, just on my own. And so I think that that one decision to move forward, because it's always a decision, right? You can have all the ideas in the world, but you have to consciously decide to put it
Mm-hmm.
out into the world. Now, I don't know when I consciously, like, was it at that with that walk with Tanya? Was it in our group, mastermind group? I can't give you the
Yeah.
date that I decided, but I made a conscious decision to move forward with it. But it just became one thing after another, and it keeps growing. It keeps growing. So I feel like it has, as I lift, as I intend to lift other people, I am being lifted.
It's so beautiful. And I love how it has been expanding and building and enriching you, even though it's meant to help others. I love that it has so much value in it. And the Her Empowerment Retreat is coming up on July 30th,
Yes,
and it's going to be in the Philly suburbs area in
yes.
Montgomeryville, PA. And I would love to share that there is friendship piece tied to it. And so it's this retreat is meant for anyone, as you said, but it could be something you're working on professionally or something personal, or maybe you don't even know what you want to work about on. You just want to be surrounded by others looking to grow or looking to be seen or looking to learn how to shine the light. So I'd love to share for you how you came up with this idea of the friendship piece tied to it.
So, um, I knew that I wanted to do something and I wanted to call it International Friendship Day for women. I had this idea, but I thought it would be down the road. And I saw myself on one of the Philly college campuses where they had a large space, and I would draw women from all diasporas, right? But the goal was to bring us together as women and just share that day. Well, when I started planning the retreat for this year, I was like, well, why wait? Why not just offer it? And I knew that United Nations had declared July 30th as International Friendship Day. I said, why not do it on July 30th? Just combine her with this retreat. I mean, with this holiday. And so that's how it happened. And then the pricing became friendship pricing to encourage women to come together. And what I wanted and what I want in all my work is to have a diverse group of women. And we can talk about diversity in all aspects, right? Socioeconomic, race, religion, you name it, you can go through the list. But it's always my intention to bring a diverse group of women together because that's how we learn, grow, bond, you know. And so that's one part of it. The other part was I was speaking with two women and telling them about the retreat, and I started talking about living your best life. And we got into a conversation, and one of the women said, well, you have to do something about that. That needs to be a topic of one of your programs. And so after the call, I thought about it. I was like, she's right. In addition to the friendship theme, the theme is living your best life. And so the idea is that we share tools and perspectives and guided exercises and activities that will help women live their best life.
That's so beautiful. And I love the invitation to bring a friend because sometimes I personally, that happens to me, you get so excited about it. And then after that, oh, I should have told, so and so. And then it's too late. So I love that you already had this um, calling, this purposeful way to remind that you could bring a friend because sometimes we just busy lives,
Yes.
we just forget.
Yes.
That's so beautiful. I'm so excited for July 30th. It's going to be such a great event. So as we um, leave women with this beautiful story of creating, of taking, you said it's a choice, it's a decision, right, to step forward, this aligned inspired action. We take it, right, we decide to take it, and then we actually take it. What inspiration would you have to share for others that have this idea, maybe don't even have an idea, maybe they feel a little bit off, like you said, that something's missing, and so any inspiration for those that are looking to create a dream or fulfill a dream, or maybe don't even have a dream, what would you tell them?
If you're looking to create or fulfill a dream, one of the things that I will say is rely on your strengths. We sometimes forget how strong we really are, what really, I call them props, personal realization of power. We forget our own powers. And sometimes we've been so conditioned to look at what we currently do and feel that those are our strengths or our powers, that we forget that we have lots of other things. So rely on those strengths, pull them out of the suitcase or wherever and re-examine them to say, you know what, I forgot that this is really, whether it's your assertiveness, your, ability to connect others, whatever it is, rely on that. The other piece is rely on your sister circle. No woman is an island. And we try to go it alone a lot of times. We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to let people know. And I'm not saying everyone needs to know what's going on with you, but find that person that you think you can trust, and maybe they have some insights. Um, for the person who says she doesn't have a dream, maybe you're living a dream. Maybe you're already living your dream and you've just gotten so down on yourself or your space that you don't really see it through the eyes of gratitude anymore. You see it through the eyes of lack. And I know what I'm talking about because I've been there. Sometimes we're looking through eyes of lack versus eyes of gratitude. And I'm not talking about getting a gratitude journal and writing 5 gratitudes. I'm not saying that. I, but just seeing something through a new eye can really help you to say, you know what? I'm good. I like where I am. I like me. I like my life. I'm living my best life. And that's cool.
That's beautiful, Alvina. And you know what? As you were sharing these awesome insights, I wanted to ask you for one more insight. And if you have any tools or practices that you do that have been helpful for you to, um, grow yourself, get to know yourself, or just find peace, in the times when you were just seeing through that lens of lack.
So the thing that I do is I go off by myself. I have a little room in my house where I spend time almost every morning and every night, and sometimes in the middle of the day. But I go off to my on my own. I'll read, I'll write, I'll meditate, I'll listen to music, but I just quiet. I try to quiet the negativity in my mind. And if it's really, the vibration is just really off, and I know it, because I know it when I'm just like, oh my gosh, I know that that's where I need to go to my room, and I need to recalibrate myself to what is, and what is what is good, and already perfect in my life, and hold on to that little. I don't care how small it might be, just hold on to that and allow that feeling to grow.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's so important to create these practices for yourself that work for you, and they're going to look different for each other. But I feel like it's important to just know that if you don't have a practice like that, just keep searching. You're going to find it, and it's going to, because sometimes people will say, like, oh, not into writing, meditate, this and this. Just keep looking. You're going to find it. But find a practice that does that for you, that you are able to turn to in those times.
Yep.
So I want to open invitation to everyone. We'll share the links to the event as well, and all the resources and the ways to connect. But having done been a participant at Alvina's H.E.R retreat, it's just such an incredible way to um, really have the time to yourself to examine these different areas of yourself and to find even places in yourself that you didn't know existed, ideas that you might have forgotten and just didn't have time to revisit. Or another thing I want you to think about is imagine this gathering of women all looking to grow, all looking to shift in some way, or looking to connect, and coming into that setting, into this environment that is being created, supportive, open, welcoming, and just see if that's something that you're being called to do, because this is a perfect opportunity to do that. And if you have a beautiful friend that you'd love to share this with, there's a great way to do that. So, Alvina, thank you so much for sharing this incredible, well, so many things, so many nuggets, and so many great inspirations, but also for creating this and having the taking that, making that decision to create it, because now it's like you said, it's created, you've created it, and now others get to feel it, touch it, enjoy it, and grow through it. So thank you so much for joining me, Alvina.
You're welcome.
Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll leave all the details on all the links for you in comments, so you can you can connect and you can continue to grow from this. Thank you.